If you eat at these 6 popular restaurants, you might be getting a lot more than you bargained for, and not in a good way. Stick with me until the end, because what I'm about to share could make you think twice before your next value meal. Let's kick things off with Applebee's. On the surface, it looks like casual dining comfort food, but behind the kitchen doors, not so comforting. Former staff admit that about 90% of the food isn't cooked fresh at all. It arrives frozen, vacuum sealed, and just gets reheated. Those sizzling fajitas you see, that steam is mostly for show. A manager even revealed the only things they make from scratch are eggs and baked potatoes, and even those sometimes come prepped in plastic. Customers have shared their own horror stories too, like a steak that looked so gray and lifeless someone compared it to a damp rug. And food safety? Not always on point. In some locations, temperature checks showed meat sitting above 50 degrees. That's basically an open invite for bacteria. And don't be fooled by the drink specials. Those colorful cocktails? Bartenders say they're made with the cheapest liquor on the shelf. One former server even joked the only thing top shelf about Applebee's is where they keep the cleaning spray. So if the food doesn't knock you out, maybe the neon margarita will. Now on to Subway, the so-called healthy choice. But fresh isn't always the word that comes to mind. For years, their tuna has been the punchline of national headlines, with lab tests raising real questions about whether it even contains actual tuna DNA. Employees have shared stories of expired meat labels being scratched off and replaced, and customers have posted photos of chicken that looked more like wet paper than food. Even the veggies can be sketchy. Viral photos show wilted lettuce, slimy cucumbers, and tomatoes that look like they've been soaking in mop water. Health inspections back this up. Some locations were written up for pests, poor temperature control, and employees wiping down lettuce with the same rag used to clean counter. And here's the kicker. Subway's bread isn't legally bread in some countries. A court in Ireland ruled it contains so much sugar it's basically cake. Yup, that 6-inch healthy turkey sub could have more sugar than a donut. Yet Subway still has more locations worldwide than any other fast food chain. Why? Because it's cheap and everywhere. Not necessarily clean or safe. That $5 footlong might just cost you your dignity and maybe your digestive system. And now, let's head south of the border to Taco Bell, home of late-night cravings, Crunchwrap Supremes, and a few secrets that might just make you lose your appetite. You know that dollar burrito that seems like a steal? Well, the truth behind it could turn your stomach. Employees have admitted to seeing expired sour cream still being served, ground beef sitting out too long, and cheese so dried out it could double as wall plaster. One viral video from a former cook even showed how Taco Bell makes their beans, by dumping a bag of powder into hot water, stirring it into mush, and serving it up. Forget grandma's slow-cooked beans, this is more like bean-flavored paste. One commenter nailed it. I thought I was eating fiber, turns out it was cement soup. And let's talk about that seasoned beef. Taco Bell's meat is only 88% actual beef. The rest? Fillers like oats, soy, anti-caking agents, and even silicon dioxide, the same stuff used in glass and sand. No wonder taste testers describe it as wet, gritty, or oddly sweet. Former employees have confessed that during busy hours, temperature checks were skipped just to keep up with orders. That means some of the food you're eating may have been sitting out longer than your last Netflix binge. It doesn't stop there. Multiple food safety reviews have discovered mold, black slime, and even bugs inside Taco Bell's ice machine. One inspector even said the ice bin was dirtier than the bathroom sink. Suddenly that Baja Blast doesn't sound so refreshing. Even presentation can be a disaster. Customers have shared photos of tacos with barely 2 spoonfuls of filling, looking like they'd already been stepped on. As one person commented, that taco looks like it regrets being born. The truth is, Taco Bell stays popular because it's cheap, salty, crunchy, and engineered to hit every craving. But low prices usually mean corners are being cut, and sometimes those corners affect your health. Now, if you think Taco Bell is bad, wait until we step into Olive Garden. This is the chain that sells tradition and family dining. But behind the kitchen doors, it's another story. Those endless breadsticks, they come with endless sanitation complaints. That pasta pre-boiled, frozen, and bagged before it ever hits your plate. Alfredo sauce, delivered in giant plastic pouches, reheated like a science experiment gone wrong. One viral confession from an employee summed it up perfectly. You're not ordering dinner, you're activating a microwave meal with table service. Customers have even posted videos of lasagna that wobbled like Jell-O, with cheese that looked more like melted plastic and sauce that had congealed into tomato-flavored glue. The so-called fresh unlimited salad, often made from pre-chopped lettuce, sitting around long enough to lose all its crunch. Those famous endless salads at Olive Garden, not so endless when you learn what's behind them. The olives come from giant bags and sit in bins for hours before ever reaching your bowl. One former worker even claimed the preservative solution they're soaked in was so strong it left their fingers numb after prepping just one tray. So if your salad tastes a little strange, it might not be the dressing. It might be the chemical undertones. And cleanliness? Let's just say Olive Garden's kitchen isn't winning awards. Health department reports show repeated violations, like food stored improperly, utensils left soaking in dirty water, and in one shocking case, a pasta bin with insect activity. That's not a garnish. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Customers have shared their own nightmares too. One diner found a short black hair tangled inside their fettuccine. They posted the picture online with the caption, "Tell me this is seasoning, please." It went viral before Olive Garden could respond. Employees have also admitted they were sometimes told to use the same towels for wiping counters and drying dishes, meaning your plate might be cleaned with a rag that just mopped up spilled sauce. Add to that high staff turnover, and you've got new hires rushing the line with barely any training. One former worker admitted they were mixing shrimp scampi while still figuring out how to properly wash their hands. And while Olive Garden sells authentic Italian tradition, most of the recipes don't come from Nonna's cookbook. They come from a corporate database, with the food prepped from frozen and reheated. So when you order that tour of Italy, you're really just taking a stroll through the freezer aisle. The prices have gone up, but the quality hasn't. You're paying more to sit under faux Tuscan wallpaper while eating microwaved pasta with a side of slow service. Now, if that makes you lose your appetite, wait until we dive into Chipotle. It's marketed as fresh, bold, and healthier than fast food, but it also has a food safety track record so bad it could fill its own burrito. Over the past decade, Chipotle has had more foodborne illness outbreaks than any other major fast casual chain. Norovirus, Salmonella, E. coli, they've all been on the menu at one point, and the problem comes down to two big things: rushed prep and risky sourcing. Chipotle insists on prepping everything fresh daily, which sounds great in theory, but in reality it means undertrained employees rushing through chopping, marinating, and cooking under extreme time pressure. One ex-worker said they once cut chicken while still wearing gloves covered in guacamole. Another admitted rice was often left sitting in warming trays for hours, turning crusty on top and mushy underneath, a perfect playground for bacteria. And yes, it's fresh but made in massive batches. One slip in cleaning a prep bowl, and contamination spreads across the whole batch. The bowls themselves are often served with greasy fingerprints, or dried rice, stuck to the rim because workers are told to move fast, not careful. Even the lettuce comes with risk. Chipotle uses raw, unbagged romaine. It might sound fresher than pre-chopped greens, but romaine has been linked to multiple E. coli outbreaks nationwide. It's one of the riskiest greens you can serve raw, and Chipotle builds whole meals around it. Lettuce might look harmless, but it's been at the center of multiple outbreaks. When it's not washed or stored properly, bacteria can linger, and no amount of vinaigrette can cover that up. In 2018, nearly 700 people across several states ended up sick after eating contaminated lettuce at Chipotle. That side salad turned into a side of regret. Temperature control is another hidden danger. Chipotle's rules say meats should be kept above 130 degrees or below 40 degrees. But in lawsuits and employee reports, workers admitted those logs were often skipped or even faked when stores were short-staffed. That spicy barbacoa bowl, sometimes the real heat comes later. And here's the kicker: a lot of customers walk into Chipotle thinking they're eating healthier than fast food, but a fully loaded burrito can easily top 1,200 calories and pack more sodium than you should have in a whole day. One manager even joked that burritos are wraps of denial, and that people would be better off with 2 tacos and a nap. So yes, Chipotle markets freshness, but fresh doesn't always. Between understaffed kitchens, rushed employees, and spotty food safety checks, every order feels a little like rolling the dice. And speaking of dice rolls, let's talk about McDonald's, the biggest name in fast food. More than just a restaurant, it's a global symbol, billions served across 100 countries. But if you think that reputation guarantees spotless kitchens and flawless standards, you might want to take a closer look. The infamous broken ice cream machine? It's not just a funny meme. Workers have revealed the machines require grueling, hours-long cleaning cycles. Many stores avoid the hassle by leaving them broken. One employee even joked the machines are either broken, fake broken, or brewing their own ecosystem inside. And while McDonald's brags about consistency, what you actually get depends on the store. Employees have shared photos of burger patties stored at the wrong temperatures, cheese slices melting under heat lamps, and lettuce that looks half frozen and half rotting. One behind-the-scenes video even showed bun boxes stacked right next to a mop bucket. Appetite killer, right? Night shifts are even worse. Several employees admitted deep cleaning is often rushed or skipped entirely to close faster. One worker in Florida said they were told to keep serving fries from an oil vat that hadn't been changed in 3 days. The fries came out bitter and darker than normal, but management's fix? Just throw on more salt and hope no one notices. And about that 100% beef claim, yes, it's technically true, but we're talking low-grade meat that's processed, flash frozen, and shipped in bulk. Additives are mixed in for consistency, and automated grills cook everything with no wiggle room for care. If a patty's undercooked or overcooked, it still gets served. Some whistleblowers even admitted burgers were scraped, reheated, and sent back out to customers. If you thought chicken nuggets were any better, think again. McDonald's nuggets often spend weeks in the freezer before they ever hit the fryer. A leaked factory video showed the infamous nugget slurry, a pink paste of meat scraps and fillers being shaped, flash frozen, and boxed up like bricks. McDonald's insists the process has improved, but former workers still call them mystery cubes. One unlucky customer even bit into a nugget and found it completely hollow, just air. Honestly, that might have been the healthiest bite of the meal. Health inspection records tell the same story. Repeat violations show up for dirty prep areas, unsafe storage, and workers skipping hand washing. One inspector in Michigan saw an employee handle raw beef, touch their headset, and then scoop fries with bare hands. That's not a value meal, that's a value risk. And it's not just the food. Those shiny Coke Freestyle machines. Behind the touchscreen is often a sticky mess of mold, syrup buildup, and bacteria. A service tech admitted the insides look worse than a college fridge on day 5. Think twice before ordering that giant sweet tea. McDonald's sells convenience fast, cheap, always open, but shortcuts come with consequences. Workers are pushed to move quicker than they can clean, meaning clean enough to pass becomes the standard. Fries taste amazing for the first 5 minutes, then collapse into soggy string. Burgers are flat, lifeless, and rely on sauces to cover up the lack of flavor. Even the breakfast menu has its secrets: frozen egg pucks, mass-produced pancakes, and syrup from industrial bags that sometimes leak and attract flies. People don't eat McDonald's because it's good, they eat it because it's predictable. But once you know about the frozen meat, the neglected machines, and the sloppy prep work, it's hard to unsee. Suddenly that dollar menu doesn't feel like such a bargain. The real problem isn't just McDonald's, it's the system. Speed over quality. Image over substance. Billions served, but billions fooled. Eating out should feel like a treat, not a gamble. Trust your gut. Question the illusion. Because food should fuel you, not